Hi, welcome. On this video, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the difference between a passive and aggressive indicator dog when it comes to narcotic detection. What are the pros and cons of both, and what is my preference and the reasons behind it. And again, when you're training dogs, it's really important to understand the script, understand what your goals are, and how to get the most benefit out of the dog that you're training in terms of unleashing the full range of their drive. Now, I'm currently training a narcotic dog, Burr. If you go and watch some of my videos, you'll see the training process with him, and he's being trained as to indicate assertively, which means that when he locates narcotic scent, he's trained to dig and paw and locate it by way more of a assertive response or assertive indication. And one of the things, the pros of that, and there's a couple, is number one is it gives it offers a more specific targeting of the scent, especially when the dog's in certain environments, in certain areas, even in say vehicles. The dog will, just like kind of like a guided missile, the dog is going to specifically go right in and indicate assertively, giving more of a targeted search specific area for the handler, which is definitely a advantage, and it's a preference for a lot of handlers. The other thing I really see with the assertive response, and this is what I've experienced, is it aligns more naturally with the dog's drives, which means that the indication or the when you start to connect, when you're connecting into the naturalistic prey drive of the dog, because you're working off the game of tug, so you're invoking its prey drive. If it follows the same path with that type of indication, the dog is expressing that state, so there's no kind of a backwards type of response by way of passive. And again, when you look at both, I find it'll naturally tap into that drive of the dog more naturally. But again, with the passive indicator dog, there is a preference at that point of when it comes to searching drugs on people themselves. There's a concern with that type of indication, with the dog say being assertive, that it somehow may intimidate people, or it'll cause, also there's an issue of property damage as well. So when the dog is indicating on a vehicle or certain situations, the dog could actually scratch something or damage something. But again, to the assertive indication, that kind of really is offset, because really the readability issue, the dog is really starting to go into that specific area. It's really up to the handler to start to focus in on as well and prevent that type of damage to property, because really when you're really getting into reading the dog, you're really in tune to the body language the dog's giving off. It gives you kind of it allows you to stay one step ahead, so you can actually prevent the dog from causing damage itself, or even by way of how the dog indicates on people as well. So it's just a matter of really making sure you're in tune to the dog's body language, and you're at a very high level of reading the dog, and so that really can prevent those issues. So for me, it's a preference thing. I really follow with the more of the assertive indication, and there's pros and cons of both. But again, it comes in a handler experience. I've seen there's good and bad with both in terms of the issues related to a preference thing with what the indication levels represent, given the person and the circumstances or the environment the dog's working in. So it's not to take away from both. This is just my take on it. I prefer the assertive indicator dog, and the issues that are presented as kind of arguments against can be offset just by being in better tune with the dog's body language and kind of staying one step ahead. But definitely for me, having that specific indication and it connecting naturally into tapping in fully into the dog's naturalistic prey drive is certainly an advantage. Whereas with the passive dog, the dog's going into a sit position, and so there is a moment there where you're actually stepping back a little bit from the dog, asserting that way with expressing that naturalistic drive on a more of a even spectrum, so to speak. Even though the sit is really tied into more of a objectifying, because the mind is jumping ahead to the tug game, so it's not a big issue, but definitely every little advantage you can get when it comes to readability and really getting the dog's drive up into targeting the scent is going to be helpful. So anyway, something to think about. Thanks for watching. Hope this video was helpful. Have a great day.